We'll get started with Arlene.
Hi, Briana. So, thank
Hi.
you for having me. My name is Arlene. I'm based in Ireland, and my question is about developing a new vision. So, I've been through more traditional approaches and coaching programs that are more based on hypermasculine, of setting your mission and vision for like 5 to 10 years. And that approach has served me well in achieving my 10-year vision and strategy in like a shorter amount of time than expected. And I feel that I'm at a place, and the world is at a place now where these approaches were great, but now a more softer, more feminine approach is needed for developing a new vision and mission that will take me and my business and the world forward into the next 10 years and beyond. Does that make sense? It's a big
Yeah,
question.
yeah. So is the thing that you're wanting to do is to create a vision for, let's say, 10 years that feels more rooted in your heart?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
heart is the important word in that sentence.
Yeah. So when you've done it before, where do you feel like you were coming from? Was it kind of like a numbers game, or kind of what was the approach that you took when you did it before?
Sure thing. I feel that it was definitely about numbers and finance. So achieving a particular number that's out there and then reverse engineering the how to get to this amount of number based on metrics, and those things are great and important. But yeah, but how to bring a bit more heart into that now, that because I think there is maybe a narrative, or there was a narrative, that you have one or the other, that maybe not necessarily both can exist at the same space, which I think we can all agree is not necessarily true.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really think that that's like kind of the structure side of the equation. We're looking at like their sacred structure, where it's like there are numbers and those all work out well, and having the metrics, it's all very good. But then the energetic flow that goes within that is the other part. And it sounds like that's the piece that you're like, wait, I want this part in this part too, the together. And so when I want to kind of come back to why in the first place for you, like why did you decide to create this business in the first place?
Sure thing. So back in the early days, or in the first place, the why was very much about necessity. It was the path that was available to me at that time for turning a passion into a way that could sustain me and keep a roof over my head. But the real why, and the real reason why, is about bringing more fun and joy into the world, and being um, a a conduit, if that's the right word, for the divine feminine, and bringing that joyfulness and playfulness out in others through the medium of dance.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So when you now look into the future, if you were to say the metrics have been managed, right? Metrics managed. How would you imagine bringing more fun and joy? It's like the reason I'm here is actually to amplify fun and joy, to be a conduit for the feminine. If you can imagine 10 years from now, that being 100x what it is right now, what would that look like?
Great question. How specific would you like me to be in the
As specific
context
as
of
you
Zoom?
want to be. Yeah.
Fantastic. So the next 10 years for me, I definitely feel looks less being involved in the business, if that makes sense. So in a way, scaling back what I've created to allow me more fun. Um, I feel like that's a growing pain with the business, or it has been, that you're growing it so much and on such a pace that it starts to not become fun, because it is all about the numbers and the payroll and all of the practical stuff that comes with running a large, successful business. So I would like to step away from that traditional structure of bricks and mortar and all of the accumulated successes over the years, and scale it back into what brings me more fun, as well as that creating more fun for the people that it's serving as well, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. So I wonder if the thing that I hear that I feel like, ooh, this feels like the piece that could be shifted is that there's a feeling of like that there would be a scaling back rather than I'm taking what I have and I'm growing it forward because there is no backwards. You're not going to like go back actually, but to take what has already been successful and to build upon it in a new direction of fun and freedom for you and everyone else. Right. And so there are all of the things that you've already accomplished and all of the incredible things that you've done. If you can take those things and rather than being like, yeah, but, and moving them back to say this, and now I'm going to infuse it with fun and joy. Right. And then see what opens up. Because it's like taking something that's been created and being like, okay, now we're going to infuse you with all sorts of fun and joy. What will you become? Right. And so there's a sense I have of a little bit of like, well, I would go backwards and then maybe have it be smaller, but rather than thinking of it as it might look really different, maybe your time involvement might be much smaller, but the energy is actually bigger because that's what entities want to do. They want to grow. Right. And so I imagine I'm seeing your business entity as one that is like, I've been really diligent and I've done a good job. And I want to be like, yes, you have. And now it's time for you to explode and enjoy everything that you've built, both for you and the business and everyone within it. When you think of it that way, what alights for you?
Mm. Firstly, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to express, but didn't have the language for it. So yes, thank you for expressing that in such a way that's like, yes, that makes so much sense. Um, yeah, it's interesting because I feel like perhaps I'm at the stage where I've been so in that masculine frame of approaching business that I almost can't visualize what that looks like. Um, if I don't continue it in the same way, because I think we have a very fixed vision of this is what growth looks like. And if I'm like, but if I go this way, I don't know what's down that route. So yeah, I guess I'm having difficulty in visioning what that looks like, or maybe there's like a bit of fear or trepidation there that's possibly blocking that.
Yeah, it feels like there's an either or happening still, right?
Mm,
Even in this conversation, like you're like, I will either or, and I want to say it can actually be both. What if what if the next stage was actually the both, the like absolute feminine conduit of fun and joy and bringing those masculine characteristics of structure and numbers to come together, because this is how all creation is made, right? All creation is made when we use like sacred flow and sacred structure and they come together and voila, we make an amazing thing, right? And so it's gone a little bit more this way. So that's why you're aching to go this way. Like, this is not everything, but we can't just go, so never mind this, right? It's like, well, actually, let's take this and see if there are pieces that we can put in here. Maybe it's creating actually structures that feel more aligned for you, that to have more freedom. And then also just even infusing those structures with the fun and the joy and the femininity. And that actually means like actually changing the way you do it more than necessarily the things that are being done, right? Because some of those things like payroll are things that like, they're going to need to be done if you're going to continue to have a business with employees. And so we have to keep doing that. But how do we do that? How, like, imagine just like, what would it be like to pay payroll in a feminine way that felt like joyful and fun?
okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is like you're going to have to train yourself because it feels like a challenge. Right? It's like, oh, it's been so much in this masculine direction and that worked. And so to say like, okay, this, but with a new energy around it feels sticky. And so I would just say, you're actually going, I would encourage you to journal about every structured aspect of your business and see how you can invite more flow, more fun, more feminine energy into it so that it can actually have the flow of both. And then once that part is done, see what actually can be added in, just like a big lump of more fun. Like, okay, what does this business look like with more freedom and more fun? Maybe it looks like pretty different, but we can at least take the structures that we have that work now that they have this new energy in them. And now we can create something different, even if that means, you know, losing some of the way that it was done before to do the new direction. But I feel like if the crossing over in this way is going to help you like weave something that is sturdy and also delightful for you. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so excited for you. I would love to hear an update in like a couple of weeks if you just want to send me a message and just say, like, how's it going? How's the dreaming? How's the journaling? And really have a devoted practice to exploring this because it's it's going to stretch you for sure.
Amazing. Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to being stretched and I will update you.
Yay. Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.